The end. That's the shortest sermon you've ever heard, I can probably guarantee that. But it isn't. And that's what this is all about. The readings that we have had today are apocalyptic words. Now, probably most of us know apocalyptic from the famous movie Apocalyptic Now. But the words mean something different. The word apocalypse is a Greek word meaning revelation, an unveiling or unfolding of things not previously known and which could not be known apart from the unveiling. So even though the gospel and our lessons are very hard to take today, the time is near, all will be thrown down. The day is coming when all arrogant and all evildoers will be stubble. It's wonderful texts for a fire and brimstone sermon. But I'm afraid that that is really not what it's all about. It's a mistake for us to live as though the end were imminent. I remember about 15 years ago, maybe even more, and some of you might recall, there were people out there who believed that the end was coming. The reason I remember this is because it was supposed to happen on a specific date, October 28th, which happened to be my son's birthday. So this became quite well known. I remember downtown crossing with the preachers standing there, "God, the end is coming, come to the Lord." And then even on TV, they were filming people who believed that the end was coming. So there was a couple that I will never forget who were being interviewed on TV, and they said, "Oh yes, we believe that the end of the world is coming on October 28th. And therefore, what they had decided to do is not to worry about their bills. They didn't have to worry about anything. In fact, it made them feel relaxed and comfortable. Now, October 29th, they still have their bills to pay. But when we read the lesson in Thessalonians, we learn this time is not about being idle. It's about continuing. It's about the unveiling of the prophets, the prophecies that have been given to us. It's not about fear. It's not about yelling and screaming and saying, "Oh, the end is coming, come to Jesus." It's about fear. And we are not about fear. We are about joy, love, courage, confidence in the future, in God. So I just want to, a kind of footnote here is, remember that the end of anything is always in the future. Because if it were now, it would be done, right? So in a certain sense, these prophecies, this revelation, these chastisements, these warnings of the end are something given to us as a gift. And they are meant to help us learn how to live now. The gift, one of the gifts that this couple received from their belief that the end was coming was freedom. And I don't know if you can imagine it. I can close my eyes and think, I don't have to worry about whether I'm able to pay my heating bill next month. And Jesus makes it very clear at the end of the gospel. He says, do not be terrified, for I will give you the words and the wisdom, and by your endurance you will gain your souls. There's one passage in Scripture that is my absolute favorite, and it goes like this. It says, perfect love casts out fear. We are about to embark on a journey. We are about to go into the season, the liturgical season of Advent. And that is a time of hope, a time of expectation. And our journey here as Episcopalians, as Christians in West Roxbury, located between homes in a neighborhood, between many other churches. The question is, what makes us different? How are we different? What fear do we need to overcome to leap out ahead, to gather in the unchurched, those who live in the darkness of fear, but don't know where to find comfort, companionship, and love to cast out all fear? Courage. Our courage is required, and wisdom will be provided by God. Indeed, it is not the end. It is just the beginning. And God is pushing us out into the world and telling us not to be idle, to work for the best of all of us. All of us. And as it says in the gospel, God will give us the words and the wisdom that we need, and our endurance will give us our souls, our endurance. We need to keep moving ahead. Why? Because it's essential to any quality of life. So as we move into Advent, the season of preparation for the arrival of the Messiah, Emmanuel. I remember as a child memorizing that passage, and we didn't do that often in the Catholic Church. The coming of the Messiah and the word Emmanuel. I love the name of this church, Emmanuel. Let us go forward with the joy and the wisdom already bestowed upon us and celebrate Emmanuel, our church, and our conviction that God is indeed with us. Amen. Amen.